Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And in today's video, we're going to be covering 5 of the best things that are coming to patch 11.1. Since they dropped a huge amount of information on us, it was a lot to kind of go through and delineate out what are actually the all-star things about this patch. But that's what I have done, and I wanted to share it with you because these 5 things have got me really excited, especially this first one. I think this is one that hunters have been asking for. They have been waiting for a very long time. I know for myself personally as well, but they are now allowing us to respec our pets on demand. We are now no longer going to be kind of like pigeonholed into whatever pets that they have arbitrarily decided are going to give us certain talent trees that we need for the content that we want to do. So we're going to be able to expand out, branch out, and try out cosmetic differences between all of the different hunter pets and build together a really great kind of menagerie and combination with different transmogs, which is awesome. I'm really excited for this. This is probably like my number one thing that I'm most excited for in patch 11.1. The second update on this list is a key one, as it has been a main point of criticism from other content creators, and it has been around the growing nature of area of effect damage and its interactions with breaking certain crowd control effects. So Blizzard has gone through a list of many crowd control effects that currently break upon any damage immediately and is increasing their threshold for the amount of damage that they can receive before they break. Now, until the PTR is actually released, we won't know exactly when that threshold is, and there could be a wide amount of variance. Something like the most recent change to fear effects means that those fears sit for a very long time and take quite a significant amount of damage before they break. Or on the opposite end of that spectrum, we have things like Death Knight's Blinding Sleet or Ring of Frost for mages, which can take a little bit of damage, but does break, pretty quickly, even taking small amounts of damage. So whatever kind of point they decide to pick between these two ends of the spectrum is going to be really key as far as how much impact this change is going to have in the current meta, especially for PvP. Because like I said, people have been complaining like, oh, the Red Paladin just attacked the AoE and broke my blind, and now my gouge just got broken by this guy. He accidentally AoE'd, because they've been baking AoE into the class for Mythic Plus for some time now to try and make classes more balanced, and it's had negative impacts in PvP. And this change is looking to try and address that so that players who want to be focusing on control and strategy, especially in like solo queue environments, can still focus on those strategies without being impeded by a couple of spells that accidentally AoE'd here or there. So I think that this change is likely going to be really well received to players who are looking to focus more around crowd control and strategy. Now, this next one has got me absolutely stoked for 11.1, and that is World PvP. Now, in 11.1, they're bringing a completely new style of mount. They're implementing their drive system, and this drive system basically means that these cars are going to go faster than the fastest flying mounts currently in the game. So it's going to get wacky, it's going to get wavy, it's going to get inflatable, arm-flailing tube-man levels of epicness when we start having some road races going on in these goblin cities. I absolutely can't wait to see how they incorporate that into the war mode structure, into the world quest format, because it's been a while since we've seen an update like this, and I absolutely loved the dragon riding, go crashing into enemy players, swirling, surging them off of their mount, and then sending them down to the depths so that they can shatter their bones on the floor below. It's always very satisfying. So I am really eager to see what else they've got cooking with this drive system, to see what the interactions are going to be between each of the cars. Are we going to be able to send people off-road? Is it going to be like Mario Kart? What's going on with this? Because this feature, although it just seems like it's made mostly for casual players, could be really entertaining, epic, and awesome, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it on the 11.1 PTR. The next major update that I am really excited for is the class reworks for 11.1. Since the War Within, Blizzard has spoken on hero talent trees and how they want them to be evergreen for the game, as they're going to constantly iterate on them, focus on them, and update them. And that is continuing to be the case in 11.1. Hunters are really eating good on this patch, as your hero talent tree pack leader is getting some major and must needed updates. It's becoming a lot more thematic towards the ancient hero Rexar and the beast that he would summon to his aid, as well as becoming a lot less passive as it was in its initial iteration. And if you're a marksmanship hunter and you're kind of sick and tired of having to manage a pet, they're taking a really risky route and focusing in on the lone wolf playstyle of hunter, giving you kind of a passive owl pet that you don't need to worry about managing as much, that will still give you the benefits of having a pet without having to deal with the maintenance of it, which I'm really excited for, because I've personally wanted to play a lone wolf hunter kind of sniper Legolas playstyle for a very long time, and it's not really been more competitive. You've always needed to really have a pet kind of kicking around with you. So I'm very much so excited to finally get rid of that restraint and play a hunter spec that is not having that type of pet management if I so choose. They're also doing a lot of major updates to a lot of other classes. I've seen many players very excited and happy about the druid update for their class talent tree, as well as resto druids getting some new shapeshift forms for their tree of life, the ancient of lore, really focusing in and honing in on that Warcraft 3 fantasy, which I think is kind of the core primordial beginnings of World of Warcraft. So I think that is a great idea and a great direction. It seems like there are a lot of big winners when it comes to these class reworks as they continue to iterate on them and continue to listen to feedback. So this is another major update that I am very excited to see in 11.1. And finally, the last big update to 11.1, which is going to see major improvements to both the Mythic Plus systems as well as the Delve systems for players looking to engage with that content, because there's been a lot of criticism around them, is that they are bumping up the item level of loot coming from Delves. If you're completing them on higher levels of difficulty, you're going to get gear that is going to be very competitive. And as a player who normally focuses very much so on PvP, I struggle to get into the PvE aspects of the game because of the limited item level available to a solo player, and people probably don't want to invite me and my PvP gear to a Mythic Plus group. So this update to item level, on Delve gear is something that now I can farm while I'm sitting in a solo shuffle queue, which hopefully they're going to be looking at dealing with as well. Particularly the MMR systems, I think boosting those up and maybe even completely revamping them is definitely something that needs to be on the table. But now I can maybe go do some delves while I'm in queue for solo shuffle, farm up this high item level loot to try and get my foot in the door to give Mythic Plus a go. I've been doing a lot of the time walking, a lot of leveling alts, and kind of maybe getting a little bit of the dungeon itch again. It's been a long time since I had that, although I started as a PvEer. I'm starting to get a bit of a dungeon itch, but it's such a pain to get into Mythic Plus with such a low item level from PvP. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out for Delves, but not only Delves, but Mythic Plus, since a lot of players have been bringing up grievances, towards Mythic Plus and how punishing it feels. It's really difficult to form a group, and then if you fail, your keystone goes down. So basically now keys that are failed above level 12 will not be reduced below a level 12. So it's not going to be as punishing when you're pushing into that more competitive content, but you will still have the option to lower them manually if you feel like you're really stuck in your group or your personal level isn't there. You're going to be able to manually lower them if you need to, but you're not going to be punished arbitrarily, which I think is a huge improvement for Mythic Plus and likely going to drive a little bit more participation towards it. And they are also introducing a new set of affixes to check out and explore, as well as a new dungeon pool, which I'm very interested to see play out for Season 2. But that's it for my most excited features for patch 11.1. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, then make sure to smash that subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated.